Hello and welcome, Desert Mountain members, to another edition of the Desert Mountain Podcast. My name is Michael Craven, joined by not Kim Atkinson this week.
It's not Kim this week. I'm back.
Patrick McKenzie is back in the
Feels good.
The booth, if you will, and a special booth this week. We're in the range house over here at CG. We have a terrific backdrop of the CG range, and that's for a reason. We've got a golf tournament going on here this week. So the Southwestern Amateur is going on here, and we have a very special person, a member here at Desert Mountain, also on the board of directors for the Southwest Amateur, Rich Grant.
Hey guys, nice to have you here.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
I also just did it already, Southwest Amateur, I said, but Southwestern Amateur. I'm going to do my best not to slip up on that. We also have a very, very special guest that has called in. Let's bring him in right now. Really needs no introduction. The 96 British Open champion, 2010 Senior PGA Open champion, Tom Lehman. Thank you, Tom, for joining us.
Yeah, great being with you guys. Thank you.
Tom, we really appreciate your time calling in. I know you're in Minnesota right now, so thank you for calling in. And let's just get right down to it here. We know you're a Scottsdale resident, and we know you've played a few rounds here on the mountain. Can you reflect a little bit and maybe shed some light for us on maybe your history with Desert Mountain?
Absolutely, yeah. Back about 1990 or 1991, right in there somewhere, I was on the Hogan Tour, which is now the Corn Ferry. Dick Highland was the director of golf at Desert Mountain, and he was really good about allowing guys to come up and play and practice and use the facilities, really in exchange only for participating in a couple of pro member events, doing something to entertain the members at Desert Mountain and to, kind of rub shoulders with them and enjoy their company and, a little bit of giving back, And so he did kind of give me the opportunity to go up there and practice when I was on the Hogan Tour, which was really, really nice. And then when I got onto the PGA Tour, obviously it became a little more of a normal relationship, PGA Tour players with Desert Mountain, but really the real attraction outside of, Dick being a real class act and helping me out was the fact that I met Jim Flick, who became my teacher for 23 years, met him in 1990 and, worked with him, until the time he died in about 2012 or 13, whatever that year was. It's the years go by fast.
Yep. Yeah, our members are definitely familiar with that name for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, the kind of thing where, Jim, he taught at Renegade, and, there's a lot, almost all of the guys on the tour who lived in Scottsdale, had this really great relationship with Dick and with Desert Mountain, with Lyle, and it's a fantastic place to play and practice. And then Jim being teaching there at Renegade, so it became my home away from home, for quite a long time until the time that he left Desert Mountain. And, so we spent hours and hours and hours on the golf courses, on the range, hanging out with the guys in the golf shop. And just, it was a great camaraderie between golfers who were there, whether you were a tour pro or a club pro or a teaching pro or just, some of the members that you got to know. So it was, it was I would say really a great time in the history of Desert Mountain.
That's great to hear. And as it comes to this tournament, the Southwestern Amateur, it's been here really on and off through the years. Now it's been 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
But, for over the last few years, we've moved around a little bit. We've had it at Outlaw. We've had it at Cochise. This year we're at Geronimo.
Renegade, we played at Renegade first year we were here.
That's right. So
can you offer any insight kind of for these players this year, Tom? Like what can they look for? Where can they score? I don't know how long it's been since you really spent too much time up here, but can you offer any insight for these players?
Yeah, I actually went over the, kind of on Google Earth and kind of went through the course again just to remind myself that I remember, that I used to play there a lot.
Yeah.
And, I always found that Geronimo was, of all the courses that were there at the time, I thought was the most difficult. Renegade had more room. Cochise was a bit shorter. Geronimo seemed to have the trickiest, I think, routing of golf holes. There's some holes that are, I would say somewhat generous where you can be really aggressive. And then there's other holes which are truly just, point to point target golf, and either hit it here or you're in big trouble. So I really do believe that the kids who are playing there, really need to, the men and the women need to, understand where they can take some chances and have room to miss a little bit. And there's others where there's not much room to miss at all.
Fair enough.
And you need to kind of play it, and those holes, don't really kill you with length. Obviously, I don't think the whole course does, but there's a nice combination of precision and power I think that the guys especially will really devour the par fives. I remember the par fives being, somewhat, I would say the weakest part of the course in terms of, I shouldn't say weak, but the most scoreable part of the course. I think you really can take advantage of the par fives.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some par fours that you have to be really careful on. You didn't really know where to aim. What club you hit off the tee is paramount. Put the ball in the fairway, because there's a few of those holes where if you miss the fairway, there's almost no chance to hit the green. You miss some of those greens, that you're looking at big numbers.
Maybe like number 16, huh, Tom?
Well, yeah, 16 is the perfect one. I mean, you try to get aggressive and fly it all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah.
You're really begging for trouble. And so to me, it's always about, with golf, there's always this whole idea of green light, yellow light, red light. The green light, holes are the ones where you really want to be aggressive and you can score. The yellow lights are the kind of where you got to be a little bit careful. So depending upon how you're hitting it, you go one way or the other. And then the red lights are just, make a par and just move on to the next hole and be happy.
Well, I think we've got some of the best young names, in golf who are coming up on the amateur level. So, if we get a few holes that are challenging for them, I think that's, maybe a good thing. I think it should make for some interesting golf for sure, and some exciting golf.
We're looking forward to seeing how it all plays out.
Yeah, sure. Tom, I think you're right. I mean, I've been a member for a long time, and I think Geronimo is one of the more difficult courses, as you say. And I like your red, yellow, green analogy, because I play Geronimo. It's my favorite course, actually, as a member personally, but I couldn't agree more that there are holes you get a par and get the heck out of there and move on.
Yeah. And if you can, in most of the holes, we all know that, Jack's courses in general are second shot courses. There's a lot of times a little bit of room off the tee, and so the real challenge is the second shot. But Geronimo is had some really difficult tee shots. I always found that there's some, holes like number 10, I think 10 is a short par 4.
Yep.
You just got to put the ball in play. The green is pretty tough, and so if you miss the fairway, it's hard to get anywhere near the hole. There's a par 5, I think, on the back 9 where you drive downhill, and it's pretty narrow, and it's a split fairway. The wash kind of separates the tee shots from it. You got to over to the second shot. The green's up higher. I mean, a bit of a tricky.
Yeah, number 12, correct.
Number 12, yeah, number 12. I mean, it's a tricky tee shot. So, but if you put the ball in the fairway, then it becomes a really like a green light hole. Just go for it. There's no reason not to take dead aim and try to whip it up there on the green and try to make a 3 or a 4. But the tee shot which is to me a little bit un-Jack Nicklaus-ish, is that there's a number of holes like that where the tee shot is everything. Mm-hmm. Put the ball in play. 17 is that way, a little short hole.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to put the ball in the fairway. 16 before it. So there's a hole in the front 9. Where I think you play to an island fairway, and then you go across a barranca to the green on the other side, or I'm not sure what hole that is. 6
maybe
or 10,
6,
or
maybe
9.
6, maybe
6. Yeah, number 6.
That's right.
So just those are real precision type holes, strategic holes, and so that what you do, what club you pull off the tee and where you aim is everything. And I tend to kind of want to play those holes, as aggressively as I can without being too aggressive, because who wants to hit a longer shot to some of those greens? I'd rather hit shorter shots, but by hitting, longer tee shots, you're bringing more trouble into play. So that it becomes a real decision-making process of, what do I attempt off the tee, and that will my reward be, with a second shot. So
maybe more strategy involved than just relying on power.
I just felt, yes, I feel like there's a lot of strategy on that course, And then the par fives, I just feel like the par fives, if you pick the right line, there's a lot of room. So these kids can just, bomb it out there. And, but if you pick the wrong line, obviously all bets are off.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Now, you had mentioned, hitting the ball over a wash. And so that made me think about desert golf and what desert golf is and how that compares to maybe some courses.
You're a Minnesota guy, I think, Tom, right?
Yeah.
You're a little bit different than Arizona golf.
Big time different. Yeah, it's very difficult. Very difficult. Desert golf is really unnerving, in my opinion, because there is no recovery. Usually the ball goes in the desert, it's lost or at best unplayable, and then you're probably going to go back and reload anyway. But so that you're standing on the tee, and in some ways it's like the old time U.S. Opens with a really thick high rough where every tee shot you were nervous because you knew if you missed the fairway you were going to be in a heap of trouble. Same thing with desert golf, only more penal. So it's difficult, very difficult. And that's why I tend to kind of say, well, find the widest part of the fairway, especially on the harder holes, where's the widest part, and play to the widest part, because I'd rather, err on the side of being too conservative than too aggressive and playing into little tight spots. Then you miss by a little and then you're reloading.
That's fair.
So would you
really?
Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Well, and then again, like I forget the number, but I think maybe the 10th hole is a example of you drive the ball down short of a wash and you hit over the wash to a pretty tough green.
Yep.
I think that's number 10.
Yeah, number 10 is a very, very narrow green, and it's elevated as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So holes like that, I look at what's presented off the tee, and the last thing I want to do is be in a fairway bunker. Because I don't want the pressure of having to catch it cleanly to carry the wash. Because for obvious reasons. So
right.
That's why that desert golf to me is so strategic. It's because it's not just simply a matter of side to side and the junk on the sides. It's also what do you have to carry for your second shot, and then you don't want to be in a position where you're in thick rough or a bunker, and then wondering, can I get it, over the wash, So that's, to me, is where you really have to be smart. Take as much out of play as you can. Don't risk anything you don't have to. Wait until you get your chances to be more aggressive, and then step on the gas, but don't do it on some of those more strategic holes.
So would you say, with all that said, that maybe the men and women playing in this week's tournament that are familiar with this region and desert golf might have a little bit of a leg up on the competition?
Yeah, you could say possibly yes, but there's also the element of ignorance is bliss, that
True.
When you live here and you play and you know that you miss the fairway, the ball is going to be lost, versus those who really aren't familiar with it. You're not quite as intimidated, possibly. So, to me, that's, there's always that side of the coin, too.
Sense.
Interesting. Yeah. Fair enough.
Just a couple more, Tom, and then we'll get you out of here. So just, obviously you've had a pretty storied career at this point, but if you can kind of think back to when you were an amateur, what might be going through these kids' heads as they go into a tournament like this? They're away from maybe their college team. They're away from where they normally are, kind of a new experience, new situation. Can you kind of take us inside maybe what's going through some of their minds this week?
Yeah, well, I can tell you what was going through my mind, and I'm sure there's a lot of kids who are the same way. It's like, this is an opportunity, to step up in the world of amateur golf. It's an opportunity to do something and significant, and become, to kind of get to that level of amateur golf that I want to be at. So, I don't know that anybody's goal is to be number, 1,500 on the amateur golf rank.
Definitely not.
Their goal is, to get up there in that top tier, and so depending upon your ability, you're thinking like, I want to move up. I want to, and for like myself, I feel like I was capable of, getting all the way to the top, and so it's always an opportunity in these big tournaments to do something significant and then end up, getting into the top 10, then getting into the top 5 on the ranking, then getting, hopefully to the number 1 spot. I never got there personally, but I got into the top 10. And so that's what I'd be thinking is, a good week here, moves me up the rankings to where I want to be.
Very good. Looking at the list of players, there is a familiar last name that we noticed on there. Someone that you're from, can you tell us about him?
I can, but let me add one thing to my answer, the last answer.
Sure.
Okay, so that's not to ignore the obvious, is that you're there to try to win the tournament.
Sure.
So I think that's what I'm saying, is that there are going to be those guys and those girls who are there who know they have no chance. They know they're not quite ready for prime time. So they're just hoping to make the cut, or make a good showing, or maybe do something, make one more brick on top of the other in terms of their improvement. But those who are the talented ones, the exceptionally talented ones, they're thinking about that trophy, and what that trophy will get them. And so that's kind of what I'm saying, is that you're aiming to win because that a win moves you up into that more elite status. But so that's where my son is. My son Sean is just finished his freshman year in college. He went to high school at Notre Dame Prep in Scottsdale and played football, and then went to college now, playing golf on scholarship at Cal Poly. And so he is one of those really talented kids who hits it miles and miles and miles and miles, and so
seems
we'll be having a long
to be the
talk.
trend these days for the young guys to hit it a mile.
It is a trend, but then there's this other gear that some kids have, and he's got it. But the strategy, he's a really aggressive kid, so tonight will be a nice conversation about when to gear down and when to gear up, when to go for it, when to lay back, I keep on telling everybody is if you think about golf in terms of par, okay, par is never a bad score. It may frustrate you if you make a par on an easy par 5, and it may frustrate you on a short par 4 or something like that. But at the end of the day, you're not really giving any ground up making a par. So if you can simply never always be happy with a par because you're not giving up ground, and then taking opportunities when they present themselves, when they have a perfect club or a wedge or a perfect 9-iron where, now you get aggressive and make a few birdies. Now you've just kind of played this really strategic, smart round of golf, and, you made 1 bogey and 5 birdies and the rest pars, and you shoot a really easy 4 under. That's kind of what you're after.
Yeah.
So that's what most of these kids have to learn, is you don't need to, drive the green to make a birdie. It's not a problem hitting a 2-iron and then a 60-degree wedge in there and making a birdie that way. In fact, I would say when you play the odds, that's what I do. It's I look at a drivable par 4 and where the pin is, and where the miss is, and there's sometimes where there really is no miss that's going to work, to where the pin is. So what's the option? Well, lay it back for a perfect number. Give me 80 yards with my lob wedge, and I probably will make birdie, if I'm playing well, at least half the time. So you start playing the odds, you start, understanding the strategy, and I think that's, what's fun to watch kids do is, their mind starts to work. They start to learn how to play the game and learn how to score. Power is great if you know how to use it and when to use it.
I like that strategy of just aiming for par every time. I usually do that, and it doesn't always work out. I usually get a bogey or double, but
Hey Tom. Hey Tom, this is Rich. I just have a quick question. I couldn't agree more. What percent of these kids, because I do a lot of officiating events, NCAA events, and I watch a lot of college players play, and as we just talked about, they can absolutely murder it. What percent do you think have I don't want to use the word maturity, but maybe the golf maturity to think like that? Because I know there are some players, but I would say more than not, and I'd like your answer, I'm not sure they're all there yet, so it's kind of a learning experience. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, you know what? I think most kids haven't gotten there yet. I think their golf IQ is pretty low still. Now, maybe those who have had a lot of experience playing on HHEA or, a bigger stage with some of the amateur or junior tournaments, maybe they've learned the lessons quicker. There's the Jordan Spieths when they were kids obviously did, but I say overall, I can just use Sean as an example. Like he watches Rory McIlroy, or he watches, some of the guys who are, Justin Thomas, and he thinks he knows what they're trying to do, but he's not certain because he's never heard them talk about it. So what he thinks they're doing or trying to do isn't necessarily what they're trying to do or what he thinks they're doing. So he's guessing, he's guessing. And so I look at Rory does this, Rory does that. Well, yeah, but you know what Rory was thinking. You know what the situation was. You know why he did that. You don't know why he did that. You just assume that he's just hitting driver every hole and hitting as hard as he can and chasing it. Well, not always the case. There's usually a reason for everything those guys do. Do you have a reason for what you do? And the answer usually is not every shot. So that's the learning curve, right? That's that golf maturity, that golf IQ is. There has to be a really good reason for every shot that you hit. And you have to be a reason why you're aggressive. There has to be a reason why you play more conservatively, and there has to be a reason why you go for a par 5 and 2, and there has to be a reason why you lay it up. And usually it's you start from the green and you go backwards. Where's the pin today? Where's the wind today? And then you realize that I'm trying to get myself into a perfect yardage with or a perfect club, or the green is really a tough green, and I don't want to lay it back too far. I don't want to hit a 6-iron, so I'm going to be more aggressive and try to hit a wedge, because that's the only way to really get it close to that pin. There's really no good place to miss. And so, okay, so like we call it, me and my caddy would call it cowboying up. You got to cowboy up on some shot. Is it going to be the tee shot, or is it going to be the second shot? And there's some holes where you have to do both, and it's a double cowboy. You just got to get the double. You got to cowboy on both of them. But that's really what it is all about. Is understand the hole, understand what it takes to play the hole well, and what shot. Usually there's some shot on the hole that's going to have to, take some kind of risk. So which shot is it going to be? And so for those who are great drivers, they'll tend to take a lot of risk on the tee shot. And for those who are great iron players, they'll tend to take most of the risk on their second shot. And then for those who do both well, then it becomes but how do I feel on the hole? But that's the learning curve that you have to make. Why do you what line are you taking? Why are you taking that line? And what's the thinking behind taking that line? And so you go on that line. What club is it going to require? Where are you going to aim so that you have room to miss? I mean, those are all, golf 101 things. But a lot of times, kids are just, they're really aggressive. They don't really think it all through, and they end up hitting a shot that's just a little bit off. They get up there and they're dead, and they're in the desert. You got to go back, you reload, you make a triple, and they feel like, well, I only missed my target by 5 yards. Well, then you're aiming at the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That sounds more like me there.
Yeah. So that's all about learning, And if you make those mistakes enough, it just makes you so angry. You get so frustrated that you eventually say, I'm not going to do that anymore. You stop.
I feel like if I just listened to Tom talk about golf every day, my game would be better.
Yeah, I agree. This is great insight. This is great insight, Tom. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, that's terrific.
You bet.
Well, the time flew by. I will let you go. We'll get you out of here unless do you have anything else?
No, Tom, we appreciate your time. It's nice talking with you again.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah,
you guys too.
Good luck to Sean.
The best
this
of all
week.
of you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we'll catch up with you again soon.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was awesome.
Terrific. Wow.
I'm ready to go hit some balls right now.
Me too. He got me a little fired up.
I think I'm right out there. Some spots open and some balls. So
I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that was great. I was happy he had the time for us, and I think these kids will listen to this from someone of his experience and success. I thought it was very, very insightful. I appreciated it.
I did too. Yeah, this won't come out until Thursday, so they're already going to be in the middle of the round or the middle of the tournament. But they wish
AirPods in while they're
they can't do that by the rules of golf. But that's another whole story.
We'll get into that in a little bit. Yeah.
So
there's the segue.
Exactly. So Rich, can you give a little bit more, like maybe give a brief overview of the Southwestern Amateur?
I can do both, Southwest and Southwestern Amateur.
Okay, that'd be good. I was looking through this booklet, and it's amazing, the history. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So, the Southwestern Amateur, the first tournament was in 1915, and this is the 107th playing of the Southwestern Amateur.
Incredible.
We are one of the oldest amateur tournaments in the country. We are the oldest amateur tournament in the western half of the United States, I believe, certainly in the Southwest. Not Southwestern, in the Southwest. And so it was played all over the Southwest, even in Mexico, I believe, once or twice. Yep. And often it was played at El Paso Country Club for years and years, and kind of on and off. In 2013, the tournament came here to Desert Mountain, and this is our 10th year now playing at Desert Mountain, which it's kind of become the Southwestern Amateurs home, if you will.
It's pretty cool.
And it's really cool. As we mentioned before, it's been played on Renegade, Cochise, Geronimo, and Outlaw. There are 2 other courses we have yet to
But we got time. We got years here in the future.
Yeah.
It's I hope it sticks around, inevitably. I don't know if we get into that or not, but yeah, it's been pretty cool to see it be here every year. What kind of feedback have you had from the golfers? They love it here?
So, it's really interesting. So I spend a lot of time with golfers. I'm also a rules official, so I know a lot of these players because I officiate tournaments they're at besides here. So I talk to them after their round, and one of the girls from ASU stays with me and my wife, and we host housing is a big issue for the Southwestern and Desert Mountain members. So a lot of us still do host housing, and we stopped the formal program because of COVID, but a lot of us still have kind of personal connections. And so I asked the players what they think, and I think that they think Geronimo is fair. They actually said they like it as a golf course better than Outlaw. I think that's kind of a prevalent feeling. I think Outlaw is a very unique course. As I tell people who come out here and visit me when we go play Outlaw, I say, I'll tell you where not to hit it, not where to hit it. So I think because these kids don't get in trouble like 20 handicaps do, right? I mean, Geronimo is a lot of trouble for 20 handicaps, and these kids are all pluses, of course. And so I think they really like it here, and the feedback we've gotten is terrific. They like the course. They think the course is in great shape, which I believe it is as well. So I think it'll be a great event. I think the players will enjoy it.
We're looking forward to it.
I loved it at Outlaw last year, and I love it here. I think it's great. I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, we do have quite a few golfers out there practicing right now, out on the driving range here. The flags from, I believe, every state and representing
many countries
as well. Thinking back, I mean, what are some of the big names that have competed and won this tournament?
We were looking at the book and all the trophies. I mean, it's endless.
Yeah, it is endless. There are a lot of players names people know who have come through here as part of their career, and as Tom Lehman mentioned, every fairly large tournament you play in as an amateur takes you up the rung and gets you into the next tournament. I have a short list here of people who people may recognize.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Some very well-known names. Mark O'Meara. Yep. He's won it before. Corey Pavin, Craig Statler, Jay Haas, Nick Watney. They've all won it. Bryson DeChambeau has played here, and the second year he was going to play, he actually happened to win the U.S. Amateur and got invited to the U.S. Open. So he pushed us aside.
That was selfish of him.
Fair enough. Colin Morikawa has played here, I believe, twice. JT Poston, who won this at Renegade, and he has now since won on the PGA Tour. Yep. And kind of one of our favorites, Sahith Thagala, who's now doing very, very well. He almost won the Phoenix Open. He's a super, super nice kid, great player, and he stayed with a good friend of mine for 2 years in a row and as a host. So anyway, there've been a bunch of great players have come through here, and I think a lot of them will look back and say it was a nice stepping stone in their career.
I agree.
Absolutely. So what is the format of the tournament?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I'll combine two components here.
Okay.
The simple answer to your question, it's a 72-hole event with a cut after 36 holes. So we'll play around tomorrow and around Thursday. And after Thursday, we'll cut both divisions. We'll talk about both divisions to the top 36 in ties. For 105 years, this was only a men's event. And being on the board of the Southwestern Golf Association, which runs this tournament, we had a strategic discussion a couple of years ago of why don't we have a women's division? And a lot of us thought it was a terrific idea for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons is that women amateurs don't have as many opportunities to play in high-level events this time of year as men do. The SUNY Honda is this week in Philadelphia, and all these kids, college kids, get invited and whatever. So they're looking for places to play, and there are tournaments like ours that fill that. Women players, top amateur players, didn't have that opportunity. So we said for a lot of reasons, to be more inclusive, to support and promote women's golf as well as men's golf, and the fact that they don't have as much opportunity, we decided last year to include a women's division. After the first year, we, I think, are the 7th ranked women's amateur event in the country.
Wow.
And we expect this year we'll even go up higher. So it's funny, we've taken the field from 144 players, with still 144 players, and we have 72 women and 72 men.
Okay.
Wow.
Competing, same tournament, same terms, same par, both pars. It's par 71 for the whole, for both divisions, and the women's division has really probably exceeded our expectations, and we're just so thrilled. Now the interesting thing of it too is the men's side is only now 72 and no longer 144. So it's gotten more competitive for men to get in, which it wasn't really the goal, but it makes our average WAGR ranking, World Amateur Golf ranking, go up for the men because anyway, it's more competitive to get in. So anyway, it's been a great thing. We're really thrilled about the women's division. It's been just terrific.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, be proud, Desert Mountain members, for hosting this because, like you said, to give the women a high-end competition like that maybe wasn't existing as much as it was on the men's side, that's huge. And then for us to be moving up the ranks like that, or for the tournament to be moving up, I think the membership should be proud of that.
Especially after being around for so long, to continue to build and grow.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I haven't been around since 1915, so I didn't know what this organization was like until I joined as a director eight years ago or so. But it's really incredible, the longevity. And I give the directors well before me, and to some extent, our group now, to continue to evolve and change with the times and look for opportunities to contribute and open this up in a different way. And this change has been just terrific. We have 4 girls from Arizona State.
Pretty awesome.
Playing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the Arizona State's one of the top. Well, they were 7th. I think they were 7th. I don't know, whatever. They were in the top. They were at the championships, right? So all the girls you saw on TV who were playing in the national championships are playing here. So it's very cool.
Very cool.
What can we do to get the TV contracts up here?
Yeah, exactly.
for the Southwestern. The format itself, I mean, has that been pretty consistent through the years?
The format, yes, it's pretty much always been a stroke play tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, there's never. I don't think it's ever. I don't know, John. I don't think it's ever been match play. I think it's. What's that? Oh, the first early years. I apologize. One of our executive directors here. The early years, it was match play, but I think for the as long back as anybody could probably remember who is still around, it's been a stroke play tournament.
1915.
1915,
in Douglas, Arizona.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I was wondering what did that golf course look like in 1915 down there in Douglas, and what was that grass? What shape was that grass in? I wonder.
I don't think the greens were rolling 12-6 like they are here today.
I don't think so either.
No, but it's a stroke play tournament, and these players are used to playing stroke play tournaments.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
So
we noticed, obviously there's signs out. Sponsorships. You have to rely on those guys, right, to get this done. Do you want to talk about some of the sponsorships this year?
Yeah, sure. So we're a 501c. I forget which category. I think it's 501c3 charitable organization, and all of us volunteer. All of us directors, all of us rules officials. We all do this on a volunteer basis, and in fact, many of us contribute money to help this thing get along. It's just kind of a passion for a lot of us, which is just great. We couldn't do this without our sponsors. We have multiple levels of sponsors. I'll just go through a couple quickly of our gold sponsors. Certainly one of them is Desert Mountain.
Sure.
Desert Mountain puts in a lot of in-kind effort with the staff and maintenance to keep this thing going. The Thunderbirds, who we all know very well here in the Valley, are big supporters of ours, for which we're tremendously grateful. In fact, I meet a lot of the Thunderbird members at like the national championships or some of the ASU Thunderbird tournaments down at Papago, and I always trying to make an effort to go thank them, and they appreciate me doing that. Vista Energy, amateurgolf.com is a big partner of ours now, which has been really helpful in the last couple of years. Ping, the Boot Campaign, which is to help the military, which we're really proud of. Stotz Equipment, who supplies us with grass cutting machines and so on and so forth.
Nice.
Those are all of our gold sponsors. Our silver sponsors are the Arizona Golf Association and Junior Golf Association of Arizona. The John Rice Foundation, and we have also a very long list of bronze sponsors that probably it'd be too hard for us to go through them all. So, it's a
group team effort for sure.
Definitely,
it's a year-long effort to get the funding for this, but we all work at it all year.
I think maybe if I hit this, Patrick, a little round of applause just for all of the volunteers, because this wouldn't happen with all the volunteers that are out there, the rules officials, the spotters, everyone who's a part of it.
No, it's Not counting directors. I'll just say guest rules officials. I won't count myself because I'm part of the organization. And volunteers do scoring, spotting, driving shuttles. I mean, it's probably 100 people.
Pretty crazy.
So we're spending 4 days of their life, to give back to amateur golf for these kids. So
how did you get involved, Rich, originally?
Yeah, so we've been members for 20 years, but we've lived here for about 11. First got involved actually by my wife and I offering to host players. And amazingly enough, there were some kids from Guatemala who were coming in to play a tournament. And I said, sure, I speak a little Spanish. Sure, it'd be great to have these kids in. So it's a tremendously rewarding. We're still friends. These kids and I are still friends. And my wife and I have hosted kids for 10 years. And I'm hosting a college girl this week. So, and then I played golf with John Ransom for years here as a member, and I became a director. I joined as a director to help out because I'm very active in golf. I play a lot, and that I'm a USGA certified rules official. It was very helpful for me to help with court setup, and I go out and officiate. I'll be officiating for the next 4 days out there. So I just kind of started as a host, and we just kind of moved in, and now
it's a good fit for you. It sounds like in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, like now I'm in the soup. I mean,
there's no going back.
There's no going back. No. So, but it's been great. I've enjoyed it, and
that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's been really rewarding.
So you're a golfer.
Yeah.
You're a rules official.
Yeah.
You're familiar with the tournament.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any prediction on what we can expect as far as scores go this week?
Yeah.
What's the winning score going to be like?
I have no idea. These kids are so good. I took 3 college kids out on Monday to practice. I probably shouldn't say that because they got an extra practice round, but it was on me as a member.
Is this tampering?
Yeah.
We'll cut that part out.
Okay, yeah, maybe we'll cut that. Actually, it's allowed. But these kids eat all golf courses up. They just eat these courses up. I think, and I'll just make a wild prediction, and I wouldn't bet $1 on it, but I'll bet that both the women's and men's division will be better than 10 under par.
Wow.
That's just my personal guess. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be off by a factor of 2x, but I think the winning score will be, I think, at least 10 under. That's just my opinion.
Pull up my sports betting app.
Yeah.
I'll
tell you who it is too if you like. I can tell you who will win. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll revisit this next week.
Yes, we will. Yeah.
We'll do a shout out on the podcast next week to see how close you were. We'll have to bring that up.
If it's really, really off, I'm busy.
If it's really off, then we just won't talk about it.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to just say to the members about this tournament? I know that we thank them for kind of donating their course to this.
Yeah. So as a member, I'd like to thank the members from the bottom of all of our directors' hearts, and all the volunteers and the players. Not all members are here this time of year, but a lot of them are, and I'll just pass along that these players are so grateful and thankful. They come up to me personally and say, you have no idea how much we appreciate this. This is one of the best places we play all year. The people were treated so well. These kids, and they're very open about being grateful and thankful. So for all the members who aren't around here, I'd like to just pass that along because I hear it personally because I'm here, in their face for 4 days. And it doesn't go unnoticed, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't go unnoticed.
We're going to be around for the next few days. Last year, I was around each day. They really are. They're good kids. They're really good young people and competitors. And we're lucky to have them here, I think.
No, I agree. I mean, for the vast majority are NCAA players. They're college players. There are some who aren't, but the vast majority are college players. And they're, like I said, I deal with them all the time in other NCAA events, and they're just, by and large, they're an absolute pleasure.
Sure.
Great kids, and they're used to the cameras. I've noticed. Just being out here on the driving range, I wouldn't want to be
filmed
period, but I'm out there this morning, and they're like, yeah, go ahead. It's fine.
They're used to it.
They're used to it.
Well, top schools train these players not only to play golf, but how to speak, how to answer questions, how to play in front of a camera, because they're the vast majority of those who are here are hoping to be on tour someday. And I mean, statistics
it's all part of
statistics.
It. Yeah.
They learn grace, and they learn how to be thankful and answer questions. So, it's nice to see that they make a whole package out of these kids, and
That's great.
it's fun. It's fun to see.
Okay.
Well, before we let you go, we need to kick it back to the studio
Shots.
to do the shots around the mountain.
Shots around the mountain.
Did you get any golf in this week?
Did you have any holes in one?
An
this week?
eagle or a hole in one? Are you going to be on the list?
No, I didn't play this week because I'm pretty busy. It's funny. I should have mentioned to Tom. My only hole in one in my whole life is at DC Ranch, where
Wow.
where he belongs. So
We'll call him back next week.
we'll call him back. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
But for everybody else, cut it to the studio very quickly, and we'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. The members were hitting the ball extremely well this past week, so let's recognize this week's great shots. Burke Mullins, Thursday, June 9th, a hole-in-one on number 7 Apache. Tori Hensley, Thursday, June 9th, eagle on number 5 Apache. Dennis Engine, Friday, June 10th, an eagle on number 11 Apache. Dale Feeler, Saturday, June 11th, a hole-in-one on number 5 Chiricahua. O. Harley Wood, Sunday, June 12th, an eagle on number 2 Chiricahua. Mike Klonowski, Monday, June 13th, an eagle on number 11 Apache. Ted Swanko, Tuesday, June 14th, an eagle on number 11 Apache. That's Mr. Swanko's second great shot in the past few weeks. And to round things out this week, James Colander, Tuesday, June 14th, an eagle on number 2 Outlaw. Thank you, members, for tuning into this week's podcast, and we look forward to sharing more of your great shots next week.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Desert Mountain members. Thank you, Rich.
My pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. And, members, be on the lookout for a probably some content, maybe Friday Jam about,
Absolutely.
covering this tournament. It's a big one. It's a cool one. And, you just might see some of these golfers that we have hosted here this week end up on tour. And so kind of a cool opportunity. Both these guys.
Absolutely.
And Rich,
Thank you, guys.
We might see you on the course with our cameras. So we'll be sure to say hi.
You will. I'm the best looking rules official out there. So if you really need a shot, let me know.
I had no doubt about that.
I'm just
Rich.
kidding. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Rich.
See you around the mountain.
Thank you,
Thank
members.
you so much.